This is the solar system 4.60 billion years ago. Even other planets, ancient times that have not yet been born. There's a huge cloud of gas floating in the universe. Consists of countless hydrogen and harmful atoms. If not in some corner of the universe, there have been several supernova explosions. This gas cloud, it may continue to float in space. No change. However, the shock waves from those supernova explosions, compressed gas halo, raises the temperature in the center of the cloud finally sharply. Ignited and fusion reaction. So about 4.50 billion years ago, the sun is finally shining brightly, officially born. However, the sun at that compared to the warm sun we look up to today, it's much more unstable. It emits a lot less heat. The Earth at the same time started from the same cosmic dust and gas, gradually condensed into a disc-shaped celestial body for travel. The disk attracts dust floating round it. Debris, even asteroids, makes him heavier and heavier, and finally a hard core made of metal was born inside. The core is heated by strong gravity. The temperature actually soared to 6,000 degrees, gradually forms a liquid outer core. It's this solid metal box, and the liquid outer box created a natural generator for the Earth. Therefore, this is how the magnetic field on Earth was born. The so-called magnetic field. It is actually still protecting us today. A natural barrier to fragile life can block the violent radiation risk in the universe. But then again, on the Earth at that time, there is no life worth protecting yet. The entire Earth is a boiling ball of lava, red and steaming. And it was during this period, young Earth ushered in the first great disaster. Earth approaches a primitive planet. This celestial body, it was later named T by scientists. After the two collided violently, a lot of debris that was sprayed out came together, formed today the mysterious satellite we call the Moon. And here's the interesting thing. After this collision, the Earth's autobiography is getting really fast. There are only 5 short hours in a day, but after hundreds of millions of years, the Moon's attractive force is gradually taking effect. Earth's autobiography is slowing down again. Become like this. Despite this, the Earth at that time, definitely not a habitable planet. The entire Earth is covered by lava floods. It's raining meteorites. There is absolutely no room for any life to survive. The Earth at that time, it's like Venus being swallowed by a volcano. There's acid rain everywhere. But here's the magic. About 3.70 billion years ago, the first life was born on Earth. These are single-celled microbes. It doesn't require oxygen, because there was no oxygen on Earth at that time. Up to 2 billion years, these microbes have been on warm shoals. It was built bit by bit, a calcareous structure called stromatolites. That is, from the earliest geological times, Archean. The scars that have survived to this day, the most primitive organisms. It doesn't even have a nucleus. It's very simple. Because of this extremely simple structure, they have survived to this day. Even in fountains over 100 degrees, or cold, highly acidic waters, he's alive and well. And then after a while, some of these bacteria learn to photosynthesize. The oxygen produced at the outset, both are used to oxidize the iron-containing components. But by about 2.45 billion years ago, oxygen production exceeds consumption, begins to disperse easily into the atmosphere. Triggers what's called big oxygen event. For those creatures that don't need oxygen, oxygen is toxic. This biological catastrophe wiped out a large number of lives. and their remains. It later became the earliest resource for visiting relatives. When the primary generation just started, that's about 2.46 billion years ago. The concentration of oxygen in the atmosphere comes to 2%. That's 1/10 of the air we have today. So, if you go back to that era and don't wear a mask, we suffocate without oxygen. Even earlier, the atmosphere of the Earth is actually composed of methane and mainly carbon dioxide. And these gases, it's the greenhouse effect that we're most worried about right now. But at the time, this greenhouse effect has become a lifesaver. Let the Earth maintains a temperature that is not too cold, but once the oxygen starts eating the methane, the greenhouse effect is reduced, causing a sharp drop in temperature. Although oxygen concentrations rise, that doesn't mean we're comfortable. On the contrary, we will probably be frozen to death because Earth is about to enter the longest ice age in history. Repair season glacial period. The ice age lasted 300 million years, once as hot as Venus, into a planet covered in ice. Temperatures in some places, it goes down to about 20 degrees below zero, 70 degrees in such an environment. It's impossible to give birth to any new life at all. But miraculously, some of the bacteria survived. You know, cyanobacteria and existing microorganisms like that. Here. You might think life should only be stuck in such a primitive stage. So here's the problem. How did dinosaurs and humans emerge? Could change all this? It is our sun. During the 300 million years of the Ice Age, the sun is getting hotter. Finally, melted most of the thick ice on Earth. It turned on multicellularity, the birth of complex plants. From that moment on, everything started to move. Over the next 1 billion years, life on Earth is becoming increasingly diverse. The variety is getting richer and richer. And here's the thing. Life has finally taken a crucial step. From sea to land. By the way, when the Earth warms again into the Carboniferous agent, that's a paragraph. It's sort of a zoo of ribs. About 300 million years ago, long before dinosaurs, the Earth is already teeming with giant insects and spiders. The land itself is always changing. About 750 million years ago, cracks begin to appear in the supercontinent Rotenha, and gradually divide. Split roadblocks float on the ocean. Finally regrouped, formed another supercontinent, Pannosia. But it didn't take long. Pannosia was on the verge of collapse. The splintered Luquae collided with each other. It gradually formed the mountains today. Finally, about 335 million years ago, these drifting land masses merge again, formed Pangaea, this vast collection of land, and this vast continent. Then it slowly divided, became the Africa we know today. Eurasia, North and South America. Why did the dinosaurs go extinct? So here's the general idea. A giant asteroid hit the Earth. That led to this disaster. Scientists have even determined the location of the crater left by the impact, just round the Gulf of Mexico today. But it happened in Paleozoic and the Mesozoic Permian mass extinction. Not so many people know, but in fact, this extinction is recorded in the history of the Earth. Of the 5 major extinctions, the worst. We often say, if the dinosaurs hadn't gone extinct, humans may not have been born at all. But were it not for the Permide extinction, maybe dinosaurs won't even appear. Despite this, on the Earth at that time, can't see at all any sign of impending disaster. At that time, there were two main groups of living things, active for almost 40 million years. This is the ancestor of modern reptiles, the twin
There
mammalian.
are
Also mammalian ancestors and house species. As far as Kazuchi is concerned, they might even turn on the path to evolution into intelligent life. But that path didn't go down. In other words, we humans can exist in the world. It wasn't just that the dinosaurs disappeared. Also thanks to this, mass extinctions long before the dinosaurs, in the distant era of Permids. Although the plants and animals on Earth have evolved well, but the overall environment is completely unsuitable for human survival. It's the exact opposite. Overall, the climate was dry, although it may vary by region. It's a little bit like the current climate. But the composition of the atmosphere at that time, for us humans today, unbearable at all. Although the oxygen concentration is 1% higher than it is now, but the concentration of carbon dioxide, it's about 3 times what it is now. In this air, we're afraid it's not just headaches, may lose consciousness due to poisoning. Especially at the end of the Permian season, carbon dioxide concentration, it skyrocketed to as much as 12 times that of modern times. It is more difficult to adapt to the air. It was these terrifying animals. The ocean is full of giant sharks and bony fish. Freely move through the water. There are small mammals on land. Giant herbivorous Ankylosaurus, and who is distantly related to us humans, run everywhere. Gore's co-life shape has. It's like a dog-dinosaur complex. How dangerous it is. It's like mixing dogs with T-Rex. It looks like a big dog, but it's 3 meters tall. Or the beast with the eyebrows, in his mouth, with teeth as long and sharp as sabers. It makes hair stand on end just by looking at it. Once you encounter this predator, it's almost impossible to get away with it. However, scientists believe this is one of the ancestors of mammals. In other words, we are actually distantly related to them. Unfortunately, these organisms are also at the end of the Permide stage. It's all gone. According to paleontologists, this mass extinction, up to 96% of marine species would be wiped out. And the situation on land, it is even more serious to the point of unimaginable. This is the only time in the history of the Earth. Even insects are doomed. Nearly 80% of insect species went extinct at that time. Terrestrial vertebrates, including gorgons. About 70% have since disappeared. In geological time, this disaster happened very quickly. It only took about 60,000 to 200,000 years. Scientists speculate that the main cause of this mass extinction, massive basalt volcanic eruption, releasing a large number of meltures. It is these lava formed the famous Siberian dark rocks. A series of volcanic eruptions, trees terabytes of sulfur dioxide, and release of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. It also filled the oceans with toxic sulfides. And the result is a massive increase in the Earth's temperature. The concentration of carbon dioxide in the air, from the original 400 ppm, goes straight to 2500 ppm. This is all happening in the Paleozoic Permide, the junction point with Mesozoic triplexes, that is, the moment before the dinosaurs were about to appear.